Welcome to Backwoods Pursuit. I'm Gabe Garish, and today we're going to take a look at the differences between the Spartan Precision light duty optics adapter and their heavy duty optics adapter. As you can see, quite different in their design and some of their purposes, so we're going to go over that, as well as some of the things we liked and didn't like about each of them. I'll drop links to these down in the description, as well as a link to our website, backwoodspursuit.com, so you can check those out for yourself if you're interested. Let's get started. All right, first up, the weight differences. This little light duty optics adapter is obviously very, very small. Comes in at 0.2 ounces on my scale, whereas the heavy duty optics adapter comes in at 2.2 ounces. So both very lightweight, but the light duty adapter here at 0.2 ounces is not something you're even going to notice, albeit it does have more limitations in its uses. Both of them use the Spartan Precision Magna switch for an attachment system. This is the Davros Pro head here, and they both attach magnetically just like that. So if this was on an optic, it would attach very easily in that regard. Same with the heavy duty adapter, it attaches right there very easily. Now the one difference here with the heavy duty adapter is you do have this locking lever here. So if you want to put this on something like this big Kowa spotting scope that weighs around 4 pounds, you're going to have the ability to do so very well utilizing this handle, and you can lock that on there so the optic is not going to fall off, which is nice if you're using an expensive optic like that. So you can go ahead and pull that off there, and then it comes off very, very quick and easily. Now, one other interesting thing about the heavy duty adapter here, I'll put it back on here just for ease of demonstration, is this handle here what can be taken off. Is not very heavy, but it can be taken off to shave a couple of ounces if you would like. But it can also be remounted in a different position here on the side of the adapter if you prefer that for whatever reason. That is an option for you. So you have multiple options if that's more handy. Controlling an optic from the side rather than from the back, that can be more comfortable at times. So they give you that option, which is really nice with the heavy duty adapter. All right, now demonstrating use real quick, I went ahead and put the light duty adapter on a rangefinder. One thing I found is that neither of these are really great for binoculars because of the position that they mount with. If you're wanting to use this Spartan system with binoculars, I would recommend their binocular adapter that's made for them by Ozyak Equipment. It does have a direct mount on to this Magna switch system, which is much better than trying to make it work by using this adapter. You have to use other adapters to make that work. So I would recommend going that route, but it does work great for rangefinders. Went ahead and put the 1/4 thread threaded screw there on the bottom of the rangefinder. So it's going to allow you the ability here to get some really good ranges. Now, the light duty adapter here, it can adjust using this little screw right here, just hand tightening that. That's going to allow you more stability if you need it. And so that's how you're going to use for your panning and tilting, depending on, of course, what head you have there. Because of the Magna switch system here, it can spin if you leave that loose, and it can spin without having to move the ball head at all. Or you can tighten that down and get the most stability, and then utilize the panning and the tilting of the ball head itself. So a couple of options in that regard, but then of course it pops off very, very quickly and easily. So the light duty adapter is going to work better for, say, a camera, a rangefinder, those types of things. Whereas the heavy duty adapter here, I went ahead and put it on this big Kowa, and go ahead and put that on really quickly and easily, and then latch that down and make sure your ball head here is tightened, which I didn't do. And then you're going to have plenty of stability here to utilize that on a large optic like this, and works really, really well. And that handle is nice and handy, but if you don't like that, of course, you can just take that off very quickly and very easily in that regard. So it does work really well. One thing I will say about this system and the setup, though, as opposed to some other types of adapters, is that, of course, it does stick out a bit more than, say, if you put an ARCA plate on there. There are some ARCA adapters we'll talk about later with the Spartan system, but if you want a direct connect onto the Magna switch utilizing that, you do have this, and it does protrude out just a bit more than some of the other adapters out there. So something to consider if you're looking at this, but you can also store it with that handle off if you don't want to have that, and that's going to reduce the profile a bit as well. But you do have, of course, that sticking out a little bit more, so going in and out of your pack is going to make a little bit of a difference there versus, say, just an Arca plate. Now, a few things I liked and didn't like about the optics adapters. If you're already invested in the Spartan system and like that magnet switch, it's a great way to be able to use your optics on a system that you're already probably using to shoot off of, and so on and so forth. The weight is awesome. Both of these 0.2 ounces is tough to beat, and 2.2 ounces is excellent, especially for how robust that adapter is. Now, one downside I found to both of these is that they do stick out more than some of the other optics adapters that I've used. Neither of these really are designed for use with a binocular, of course. If you're going to do that, definitely go use their binocular adapter that attaches directly onto their magnet switch system. That's great, nice and low profile, but neither of these really are low profile per se. They kind of stick out a bit, as you can see. Same with the heavy duty adapter here. It's going to stick out in your pack a little bit more, quite a bit more than some of the other adapters out there, or if you just put an Arca plate on there and then slide it onto an Arca compatible type of a head. So this is a way to be able to use the Spartan system with your optics, although as far as functionally and the profile that you get, it's a little bit more bulky or sticks out a little bit more than some of those. So that's really the thing that I didn't care for as much, but it does utilize this magnet switch setup really nicely and gives you a nice platform in that regard. So those are some things I liked and didn't like about it. I'll put links to both of these down in the description for you if you want to check them out for yourself. And drop any questions or comments. Love to help you out if I can. Thanks for watching here today, and we will see you next time.